I'm here with Lynn Kaywood, the Managing Director of Childline Gauteng. Lynn, this is an emotional time for so many people right now, but the children of South Africa and the children of Gauteng that are already battling and already struggling, I know it's a big and emotional question, but what is happening?
Well, Childline services are fully operational 24/7 on the toll-free helpline on 08000 55 555. We have, all our counsellors have been trained on COVID and all the other issues that come up at a time like this. So everybody is on standby to help. I think it really does, this crisis, sort of with everybody being in lockdown, really exacerbates the pre-existing issues that that families and communities and children have had. And I suppose what it really highlights the absolute importance of psychosocial services. So those are kind of the professional services that we're able to run to help people in times of crisis, to strengthen families, to strengthen parents, to give children positive advice, good values, help them to access resources and assistance in terms of what their particular need is. And so I think this state of disaster has really highlighted the real importance of caring for one another and having a service that is available to people continually for whatever the issues are. The kinds of issues that we've been dealing with on the 24/7 helpline since Friday, there have been a lot of custody issues with parents not sure which parent the child should be staying with, arguing about that. The law's been very clear that they must stay with the custodial parent, and they need to, obviously make arrangements to FaceTime, face chat, etc., if possible. There have been one or two abuse cases, which we really have to thank the South African government. They've been absolutely fantastic in this crisis, and it's really wonderful to, to feel so proudly South African again. That our president has taken the lead, the Department of Health, the Department of Social Development and Education, and the South African Police Service and the Army have really been, serving communities in a way that's been absolutely fantastic, and we have to really, be grateful to them. And we do at Childline, because we totally depend on them to enforce the regulations and child protection services and that kind of thing. So but to get back to what children are talking to us about, a lot of them are, especially the teenagers, are insisting that they should be allowed to go out, and why should they listen to their moms, because COVID hasn't come to their particular neck of the woods as yet. So we're very clear. You have to listen to your mom. It's very important that everybody respects their mothers at this point in time. A lot of kids playing with us, and that's a wonderful thing, because children play in order to get mastery over their circumstances in their life. So when they play with us, it's really lovely, because we can play back and give them information about what COVID is, and about washing their hands, and disinfecting the surfaces, etc., etc.
I could just ask, what do you mean by children playing with you?
So they play on the lines. So, because we're a toll-free line, it gives children the wonderful opportunity of being able to phone Childline, even if they don't have a serious issue. And so, we think that's a wonderful thing, because, it's important that children play. In fact, it's important that we all find time to play and have fun, and do things that make us happy. And in children's cases, they gain mastery over, being able to make a call, conceptualize what they want to talk or play about, speak to a stranger, evaluate the information and the tone of voice that that stranger speaks back to them in, decide whether they feel they can trust this person or not, be able to voice their concerns. And, you know, children have little concerns about, you know, my mommy didn't kiss me goodnight and she hurt my feelings, to it's my birthday and everyone's forgotten, can you sing happy birthday to me, to right to the very extreme end of the spectrum where children are phoning to say, please help, you know, somebody's hurting my mommy, or somebody's hurting me and what must I do? And in those cases, we open a proper case and we're able to facilitate child protection services from the statutory partners. Childline doesn't have the legal status to be able to, or the capacity actually, to go into homes and do an evaluation and decide to remove a child. That is not our mandate. Our mandate is to take the call, do a risk assessment, understand what the particular issue is that this child or this family or this community member is dealing with, and then devise a helpful scenario in terms of what is needed and how can we help those people to access it.
So, Lynn, this is very encouraging. I mean, you're speaking with a very positive tone about a very sensitive and difficult subject, and you are on the front lines of what is happening with children at the moment in Gauteng. Now, this lockdown that's taking place, the gut instinct kind of is fear, because they're locked in homes that they probably don't want to be in any way. I'm obviously talking about the tougher end and the really harsher end of the spectrum here. Are you finding that even under lockdown, it's actually assisting? Like if you do get calls because the military's on standby, that they're able to react very quickly? Are you kind of almost encouraged and feeling okay as one could be, that they are going to be able to get the support that they need in a short period of time?
Look, it's obviously a time of crisis where the normal services are not available, but certainly, you know, the departments that have stepped up to you know, make alternative plans, as the Department of Social Development and Health particularly, and the Army and the police, have been really awesome actually in terms of supporting and assisting and making sure that there are you know, basic services available. They're a little bit more difficult to access. One of the issues that we are having is that child and youth care centres are pretty much full. So if there is a child who needs a placement, we are, you know, having to really scramble to see who can assist in that circumstance. The other problem that that is manifesting itself is that some families are worried about food security. And I know government has got a food security line where you can phone to, you know, and they are planning to be able to deliver you know, those foodstuffs to people in need. But obviously these things take time to manifest and to make happen. But you know, it is definitely on their agenda, and they, I think, are doing everything they possibly can to you know, to ensure food security. We had one case of a young boy who was brought in by the police on Friday because his mother had a psychotic breakdown and had to be hospitalized. And fortunately, we were able to access one of the state's places of safety, Walter Sisulu, and the police person was able to take the child there. But I mean, you know, really a sad situation for a young teenager who at this stage especially has to go through that experience of his mom being psychiatrically needing attention. So yeah, you know, those are the kinds of issues that we're dealing with at this point in time.
So, Lynn, there's many people working from home at the moment, as you know, and you know, one of the important things about working from home is that your skills are available. Is there anything people can do that have potential skills at this time that they could potentially work with Childline? Can they help? Can they even get any training at this time to potentially be, maybe they have to be qualified in some way, but is there any way people who want to help can actually give back at this time?
Well, that's so great, and it's so wonderful, actually, that to be able to speak to one sector of the Childline support community. And some of our funders and supporters have been with us for 20, 30 years. So we really are extremely blessed as an organization to have such a great support system. So counseling for right now is not a possibility, because you do have to have very specific training, and we utilize professional people wherever possible on the helplines. I think we managed to secure masks and hygiene equipment and so on, sufficient for this particular lockdown. So right now we're okay, and thank you very much for offering. I think our worry, of course, is the long term, in terms of the sustainability of Childline services, because we're unsure of what's going to happen in terms of the funding community and and funding to keep our services going. So if anybody would like to make a donation, we would be extremely grateful for, even if it's a small donation or a small debit order, for people to go onto our website www.childlinegauteng.co.za and to assist into the future if they can. Childline's always been a vulnerable organization. We serve over 400,000 children a year. 300,000 on the helpline, 100,000 in schools, and the balance, a smaller number in terms of face-to-face counseling in our 7 community-based sites, and community events, passing on valuable and important information. And you've been able to operate on a budget of just over 12 million, and that budget hasn't gone up for the last 3 years because it just hasn't been the money available. So I really must commend the Childline team. They have been absolutely awesome in terms of stepping up, putting themselves at risk to come in to serve on the helpline, for no additional reward. So yes, if we were able to give the staff a small token of society's appreciation, it would be absolutely such a win.
Absolutely, Lynn. Thank you so much. Just to finish off, and once again, I'm just looking for possible ways that people can help. A lot of people are stressed for cash. If they can donate cash, that's great. What about just throwing it out there as an idea? What about people with larger homes or extra little places, cottages that have space? Could they potentially allow those places to become areas where potentially children could stay during lockdown if they need somewhere to go?
That would be a really, really awesome offer, especially because, those people would then be placing their own families at some degree of risk. So, and also, it's removing a child and placing a child in a particular situation is very much regulated by the Children's Act and the children's courts. So those places would have to first be vetted and go through the processes, and that is something that the state would have to do before you could legally place a child in those circumstances. But certainly, so to manage that right now, it's probably going to be safer for the child and for the community if they are taken into the state places of safety that have remained open. So, it's Walter Sisulu, Simangalisa Makachwa, Mary Moodley, and Don Matera. They have remained open. They are available to take children in. And so I think that is probably best practice at this stage, just to ensure the child safety and the community safety.
Thank you so much, Lynn. If you could just give us that number again and your website.
Okay, and if I may, Scott, just to say, you know what, this is a really interesting time, because all of a sudden, you know, I think we've all come to realize that we are all equal.
Mm.
And this virus knows no boundaries. And I hope that, you know, that when we, as we consider the corona issue, that we consider all the other C factors that are really important in life, such as our children, you know, the values of cooperation, clear communication, compassion, kindness, and that, you know, that somewhere this, the silver lining on this crisis is going to be that we will all reflect very deeply on the things that are important to us: families, time together, um, you know, being kind and compassionate to one another, and but really to think very deeply as to how we can co-create a better world that you know, that encapsulates all those values, and of course, you know, our Constitution and Bill of Rights in terms of equality and the right to dignity, and that everybody should you know, be afforded the opportunity to have their basic needs met. So I think it's an interesting time. The world has certainly changed. I doubt whether it will ever go back to being what it was 3-4 months ago. And so, yeah, just a really good opportunity to understand what kind of world do we want to live in, and how can we all participate in creating that different kind of world. So the number we teach it to children is, with our 10 fingers, 08000555555. And we're on standby to take your call. Give us a call. Give the counselors, you know, a positive message. They'd be very happy to hear from you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Lynn. That's a very special message from a very special person heading up a very special team at a very, very special organization, Childline Gauteng. Lynn Kaywood, thank you so much.
Beat the C thing, hey? Go well, Scotty. Lovely to chat to you.
Thank
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.